from the high 10. This is the Vault XL. This commentary is pertaining to Sebastian Rogers. Going to take a little deep dive into the information that has been relayed as of late pertaining to the missing 15-year-old out of Tennessee. WKRN will be my first source of information. Thank you for joining me.
News alert now about another high-profile missing persons case in our area. Sebastian Rogers' father tells us he's not giving up hope after his son disappeared from Sumner County last month. Link isn't at the WKRN.com. We'll have a conversation.
Hey, good morning to you, Nikki. This is the first time we're hearing from the father on air. He says he's not giving up hope as he's searching for his son right now in West Tennessee. Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, says someone told his mom that he should search Natchez Trace State Park. That park is more than 100 miles away from where the 15-year-old went missing. Now, it's important to note he didn't elaborate on who that someone was, and as far as what happened to him, that still remains a mystery, one Seth is determined to get to the bottom of.
I don't know all I know is that he has disappeared out of his mama's house, and it's my job to find him and bring him home.
And so Sebastian was reported missing on Monday, February 26th. Of course, we'll continue to follow this as we do with each of these stories breaking right now. For breaking news around the clock, you can always go to WKRN.com.
All right, everyone. This is interesting information. So who was the person that told the mother to look at this park? Let's get a little information about this park. Thank you for joining me. Natchez Trace State Park, 22390 Natchez Trace Road, Wildersville, Tennessee. Never even heard of this place, and I live here in Tennessee. It is 1 hour and 38 minutes from Hendersonville, Tennessee. This parkway, Natchez Trace Parkway, is free and does not charge an entrance fee or campground fees. Please note that America the Beautiful National Parks and federal recreational lands passes are not available to purchase on the Natchez Trace Parkway. Okay. How big is Natchez Trace Park? 48,000 acres. Where does the Natchez Trace start in Tennessee? Most people get on the Natchez Trace at the northern terminus. That's about 1/4 mile west of the Loveless Cafe on Tennessee Highway 100. As if you're familiar with that area. Can you walk on the original Natchez Trace? Preserved here is a 2,000-foot long section of the original Old Natchez Trace, which follows a ridge 300 feet above the Duck River. A 10 to 15 minute walk will take you to the end of the trail and back and provide a change of pace from driving. Where does the Natchez Trace end in Tennessee? Natchez Trace Parkway, scenic and historic roadway extending 444 miles, which is 715 kilometers through Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, U.S. It begins in Natchez, Mississippi, and generally following a Native American trail in a northeasterly direction, ends near Nashville, Tennessee. So this parkway park is touching 3 major cities, or states rather, Nashville, Mississippi, and Alabama. What part of the Natchez Trace is closed? There are currently no detours on the parkway. The closed section of Natchez Trace Parkway, milepost 239.2 near Highway 32 to milepost 256.9 near Highway 6, has reopened to traffic. Travelers should expect single lane closures in the summer of 2024, and this was posted December 14, 2023. Can you park overnight on the Natchez Trace? Overnight parking must be registered. Leaving a personal vehicle while bicycling the parkway is permissible after an extended parking form has been submitted. The Natchez Trace Parkway is not responsible for unattended vehicles. Do not leave valuables in your vehicles. Why is the Natchez Trace famous? The Natchez Trace Travel Corridor has been an avenue of travel, trade, change, conflicts, and communication for more than 10,000 years. It is now honored as a designed landscape, making the Natchez Trace the only national parkway to commemorate an ancient travel route. Interesting. I brought you this information only because someone mentioned it to the mother. So obviously the mother told Seth, I'm assuming, or did he hear it directly from her? There's a lot of rhetoric going on pertaining to this child, and this is what happens with true crime. For some unknown reason, why I do not know, why people are so invested in passing stories and different things, but it is what it is. And it's pretty sad, quite frankly. But we're going to talk about that briefly, and then I'm going to check out of here. But I want to play some more information pertaining to this young man. So you've heard about the father searching in a park for him. Somebody gave the mother this information. Doesn't specify who told her and who told him. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the community, because the community, they have concerns pertaining to the search for this young man, and I guess not getting enough done to find him. So we're going to go take a dive into the community speaking pertaining to Sebastian Rogers. Thank you for joining me. WKRN is also the source of this information.
Right ends, another family in Sumner County is still left without answers.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has been missing for almost 5 weeks. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry spoke with community members about the call for more resources and outside support. Caitlin.
The Sumner County community is still asking where Sebastian Rogers is as the search for missing college student Riley Strain ends, but residents in the area tell me they have not forgotten him. Prayer vigils are held for the teen almost every week. Drivers in the area drive by posters along the streets, and flyers greet them at every door or window. Even organized search parties by concerned community members and Sebastian's biological dad remain constant, but many residents in the area say it's time to ramp up the search efforts again. And Sumner County Commissioner Don Schmidt says Sebastian's story needs to be told in every city and state. A TikToker with 92,000 followers took to social media calling for the help of the United Cajun Navy, currently in Nashville. She tells me she watched them search for Strain and believes they could help find Sebastian Rogers.
I was like, hey, don't leave. Over here. You know what I mean? Like the flag.
I think we need to really expand the news coverage. The local news are doing a great job, but I think we get this nationwide that other people in other states are seeing this. Because honestly, people's worst fears are really starting to ramp up now.
In a statement from Sebastian's mother, Katie Proudfoot, she said, quote, "We pray that everyone continues to help search and pray that we find him and bring him home safe. The pain of our son's absence is beyond words." If you know anything, call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at the number on your screen or TBI at 1-800.
615-451-3838.
TBI find. Bob and Haley?
TBI, local sheriff's department. Where is this young man? You hear the mother speaking the sentiments of what? Not giving up on her son. Help search for her son. Well, many people are going to have a problem with that, because why are you not out searching for your son? Why are you not out? Because my understanding, I haven't heard that you work, have a full-time job, going to school, taking a course that would keep you otherwise engaged in other activities. So why are you not searching for your son? I'm curious. And many people have put this in comments below news videos. You and your husband are not searching, Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. So why are you two not searching? Now, I understand he works a full-time job and works out of town. So one would say, okay, he has to continue to work to keep food on the table. But then the flip side of that is there are people who have full-time jobs and they took off because their child was missing, such as the Gilberts and the Strains. You saw them in Nashville working with local authorities to find their 22-year-old son, Riley. Let me say that again. I'm assuming that the Gilberts, the Strains have jobs. They have bills to pay. But they were in Nashville looking for their son. So some would say, well, sir, Mr. Proudfoot, uh, couldn't you take off just the first few weeks of the child missing to pretend that you are concerned? Or is it that you're really not concerned? And as of late, these interviews with other people besides the news is concerning to some people. It's how it looks. And of course, I can't knock other podcasters, bloggers, vloggers, because I'm on YouTube talking. But one would say, why not stay in tune with the local news? Because those are the people you should want to talk to. Just to give an update, share your feelings, be a part of the community, the searches, handing out flyers, so on and so forth. We have not heard that you all have done any of that, and that's baffling. When there were prayer vigils with Mr. Seth or in his town where he lives, I thought he lived a little ways away, but then I find out, well, no, he doesn't live that far. So people were questioning that. When there were prayer vigils in his location, why didn't you all go? At least the mother, let's say. Why didn't you go up there? So people are watching things because this is what people do with true crime. They chop up every little thing that's going on. So when you find out that people live in the same demographic and their prayer vigils in each location, you start to wonder why you don't see all parties as a united front. And that's made it to the news as well. You all aren't together. Now, it'd be a different thing if one parent lived in, let's say, Alaska, California. They lived a long way. They hadn't made provisions to get to the next state because their child is missing. But you all are living in the same demographic. So this is strange to many people. Why, even when you talk to the news originally, you all weren't together. Is there some type of rift between Mr. Seth and the Proudfoots? I'm just saying. Although he has not said anything negative about them on the news, he has not implicated that they are involved or any other party, nor have they implicated Mr. Seth or anyone else. But it's what you don't see is what's concerning. So I'm going to say it again. Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot, Mr. Seth, why are you all not together speaking? Now, Riley's parents are not together, bio parents. They are with different mates, God rest his soul, and they were a united front sitting together for the news interviews, press conferences. And sadly, their son was found in a river 8 miles down from the alleged location or where his phone stopped pinging. Now we go over here to Hendersonville, Tennessee. And there's nothing. It's just like a wall up. I have a lot of questions pertaining to this case. And my mind got to circling once I watched Nancy Grace. So I would say the last person you want to watch give a commentary about a missing person. Because there were a lot of questions she asked that Mr. Seth couldn't give an answer to, which bothered me. And this is not to be mean to Mr. Seth. Where I'm taking this is there are things that are pertinent to the case that he could not give Nancy Grace an answer to, which is bothersome to me. Before I get into that commentary, let's talk about the United Cajun Navy, who have been kind enough to help find this young man. They have decided to now go over to a neighboring place to try to help a young man by the name of Sebastian Rogers. And we're going to see what they have to say. 1 second, everybody. I'm going to go over here and find my information. This is not good. Let's see, I think I brought you everything from the community. One second. Get all my information. Hold on. Baffling, baffling, baffling. There's a lot missing in this story, and I think most of you realize there's something terribly missing pertaining to this story. Hold on one second. I'm going to see if I got everything here. Hope you all are well today. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Search for Riley Strain ends. Another family in Sumner County is still left without answers.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has been missing for almost 5 weeks. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry spoke with community members about the call for more resources and outside support.
Already.
Caitlin.
The Sumner County community is still asking where.
Let me try to get something else. I'm trying to get the Cajun Navy's their short version of this information.
All right, we turn now to the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. It continues nearly a month after he went missing. You may remember this is the young man with autism who went missing from his home in Hendersonville near Long Hollow Pike. After scaling back search efforts, a new crew of volunteers are back on the ground, hoping to get things started again. Jaxie Pigeon joining us now to break down their new efforts.
Well, Blake, with the body of 22-year-old Riley Strain being recovered from the Cumberland River, the United Cajun Navy says they are now shifting their search efforts about 25 miles away to Sumner County in hopes of locating Sebastian Rogers. The Volunteer Disaster Response Organization tells us Sebastian's father, Seth, asked them to assist in finding his son. They've since deployed a search team with canines in the area. This comes as local crews scaled back a once massive search for Sebastian. In a recent statement, the TBI says, quote, "We have not forgotten about Sebastian. Much of the work currently being done to bring Sebastian home may not necessarily be public or visible." David Flagg with the United Cajun Navy says because this is an active investigation, he cannot give many details. However, he assured folks they do have assets on the ground and they are going to try to help out as much as they can.
First and foremost, we'd like to see Sebastian found safe and sound. You know, that's, I think everybody's hope, and that's always our hope, is to find, you know, regardless of what the evidence and circumstances might point to the contrary, our hope, and we always hold on to that hope until we find out we can't anymore, that person will be found safe and sound and returned to their family.
Now, the United Cajun Navy tells us they are not looking for any volunteers at this time. However, if you do have any information, you're asked to reach out to them or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Blake?
All right, thanks so much, Jaxie. Certainly holding on to hope in this case. We're keeping up with the very latest developments surrounding both of these cases. You'll find our latest coverage online at WKRN.com.
All right, so the Cajun Navy has stepped up to search for Sebastian Rogers. They just came to the area to help with the Riley Strain search, and sadly, Mr. Strain was found by some workers on the river. He was under a barge. Once again, prayers to the family. This is all baffling. Where is this child? A lot of talk, a lot of gossip. Allegedly, the grandmother has spoken on a network pertaining to issues about the child, parents, so on and so forth. As I said, the father doesn't point the finger at anyone, has not, nor has the Proudfoots. But as I said, you don't see a united front with the three parties, which is strange to me. You have the Proudfoots talking to YouTubers, talking to different people. But then I asked, why would you do that when you made a statement that you would not be talking publicly about the young man, which is baffling to me. You have a whole child missing. Why would you not want to talk about your child? You should be talking to radio stations. You should be talking to schools. You should be talking to anybody that wants to open their door. You should be going to church talking about your child. You should be enlisting anybody in the local area. And then some people will question that. Well, doesn't seem like, many people are, in tune to searching for a kid or a person, because we live in a world where a lot of people are tuned out to basic news. Breaking news. They just don't care. And you can't make people care. But there are people who care for the child, just like there were people in the general area that care for Mr. Strain. So what is missing from this? The obvious. There's no united front between the parents. They live in a same demographic. So you got to ask yourself, why are you not seeing the parents together as much as possible. I get it. People have to work. They have jobs. But at some point, it would be nice to see the parents together. Is there a personal rift that we're not hearing about and they're not saying? Because naturally, people don't tell you everything. And as I always say in my commentary, you don't know people. You really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You also have to ask if it's true that Mr. Seth is supposed to be getting custody of the child. I'd like to know why. I'm going to tell you why I want to know why. The obvious. He's 15 years old. In a few years, he'll be a legal adult. Now, due to the fact that he's autistic, I don't know if he has the capacity to live on his own. Go to school, take a training, a course, college. I don't know, because I don't know the level and the degree of his autism. So that's one question. And Nancy Grace asked the father that, what is the level of his autism? He didn't really give a definitive answer, because those are things you want to know when you're dealing with any type of developmental disease. What is the level of it? Meaning, can this person function on his or her own? Go to the bathroom. Can they cook them something? Can they reason? Because as I said, in a few years, he'll be an adult. So would he be able to go out on his own and function, such as ride public transportation, good with directions, operate a stove? You see what I'm saying? Know how to lock a door, unlock a door, reason with people, their actions, their emotions, those type of things. Would he be able to live on his own? That's what I'd like to know. Because if this man is wanting custody or getting custody, let's say, you're going to ask yourself, well, why this late stage in life is this man getting custody of his son? I'm questioning that. And that would lead me to believe that they either mutually agreed or didn't mutually agree. So did somebody take somebody to court to say, such as Mr. Seth, I want custody for this reason. He was awarded the reason, the custody. What was it? I want to go to my community page, and I'm going to pose questions to you that I put up there pertaining to his interview with Nancy Grace, Mr. Seth. There were many things that troubled me during that interview with Nancy Grace. And I think it should be troublesome to many people, because there's something missing from that interview. Thank you for joining me. Please check my community board. Any content you just heard is also posted to my community page. Thank you for joining me. And check out my last live from last night pertaining to Kenneth Wayne DeHart Jr. Some people are posing a question that he was assaulted during his arrest here in Knoxville, Tennessee, pertaining to the murder of a deputy, an attempted murder of a deputy in Blount County. And he was on the run for 5 days. Knoxville, Tennessee officials captured him at a home in East Knoxville. A SWAT team. He was transferred into Blount County on the state line. On the Blount County line and Knoxville line. And when he first gets in his car, he doesn't have a mark under his eye. Later, you will see a mark. Feel free to check out that content. And check out Nancy Grace's latest interview. Because once you watch the interview, you'll understand where I'm coming from pertaining to the disappearance of this said child. Once again, lots of rhetoric coming from Mr. Seth, grandmother, different things said about the relationship between Mr. Seth and the mother. I'm hearing issues, allegedly, of her mental states. Possibly she hasn't really bonded with the child. There may be some allegations against the father, the stepfather and his child. And there are also questions, naturally, were they actually getting along? So that's a question we should ask off the bat. Do all the parents actually get along? Number one. Why is this man getting custody of his child? Has he been granted legal custody from here on out, once school is out, of Sebastian Rogers? Did Sebastian Rogers want to go, or does he want to go, with the father? Was it turmoil in the house between the three? Because in the end, when you think about all of this, You can flip it different ways because you don't know what's the truth. The stepfather's gone a lot. So one would say, well, why would he have problems with the child? He's not there. He's gone, probably Sunday night to Friday evening. So what issues could he have with this kid? You're not there to see him. So then you got to ask the question, the behavior of the child. Is he combative? Is he rambunctious? Is he a fighter? Is he a biter? Does he get mad? Does he throw tantrums? Does he fall out? See, those things you're not hearing. And that will lead you to decide what you think happened to the child. Because most children who go missing and are later found unalive, their parents and guardians are the cause of their demise. It's usually somebody close to the family, somebody in the family. So this is why you have to ask the temperament of the child, because we know that children with autism and certain developmental diseases, they have issues. So that's what you need to ask yourself. The temperament of the child. Did the mother get along with the child? Did the stepfather get along with the child? Lots of questions asked by Nancy Grace about the dynamics of that house, the home, cameras, motion sensors, neighbors' homes, neighbors' cameras, motion sensors. Let's chop it up, everybody. Nancy asked the father a lot of questions that he had no answers for. Why not? Did he ask mom any of these? I assumed the flashlight was a standard light, maybe a smaller one, but a keychain? I could only see it being bright if it was a nice sized flashlight. Odd here. Assumingly both flashlights had to be the same size to render same and similar size of light. The news brought us information about lights in the backyard. Thousands of questions. Who was back there? What are the lights? Where were they? Who did they belong to? So this is why I'm talking about the light, the size of the light, similar in size, so on and so forth. No proof of life for 2.5 days. Nancy asked Mr. Seth, when did he last speak to the child, visibly see the child? He said that Thursday. So this is why she asked him that question. So naturally, you want to ask yourself, if he saw him Thursday or talked to him on the phone that Thursday, where is the proof of life there after Thursday? Allegedly, he went to school, so that means they have verified authorities that he attended school and got out of school. So now we're going to jump to Friday. Verified that he's gone to school, made it home, somebody picked him up. So now we're talking about Friday afternoon. So now let's take it from Friday afternoon to early, allegedly, Monday morning. That's a lot of time. So I'm going to ask the authorities, have you verified proof of life from Friday afternoon until Monday morning or Sunday night? Dad doesn't know if Chris took a polygraph. Why not? Nancy asked this question. You know that the mother took a polygraph, but you don't know that the stepfather didn't take one. I don't understand. Because to me, it seems like they're both would be connected. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Seth, did you ask the stepfather directly, Chris, did you take a polygraph? Obviously, he didn't ask. Or if he asked, he didn't get an answer. Are they even speaking? Ding, 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 ding. Is he actually talking to the mother? So you have to ask these questions, because when a person is asking you questions that really you should know an answer to, you have to then ask yourself, are these people actually holding conversation? So Queen's going to ask, Proudfoots, do you call Seth regularly? Do you call him or do you text? Because a lot of you grown-ass people love to text. We live in a world where people act like they're scared to pick up a phone and actually call. It's this new way of living. Text, text, text. I don't really care for texting because you can misunderstand what a person's intent is. That's why it's best to call people. But because we're so honorary and lazy now, all we want to do is text. So I'm going to ask these grown people, do you all call each other regularly to talk, period, even when the child wasn't missing? Uh-oh. How many times were you all talking? just to say hello, how's the child? Did the child call the father regularly? Video chat, Skype, whatsoever. Now that the child is missing, who is calling whom regularly? Calling or texting? How many times a day? How many times a week? Or at all? I think I'm kind of scared to know the answer. Once again, why doesn't he know if Chris took a polygraph or not? Dad doesn't know if Proudfoot's neighbors have cameras, motion sensors. Okay, Mr. Seth, why not? Why have you not talked to the neighbors? See, I would be talking to everybody on that damn street. And I don't mean any harm, but this is just Queen. This is how I rock. Mommy and Daddy don't want to tell me nothing. Police don't want to tell me nothing. I'm going to the head knocker myself. I'm going to walk every house and knock on the door. Have you seen my son? Do you talk to my son? Do you know my son? Do you have children? Do they go to school with my son? Bingo card. That's how you get to the bottom of something. You don't wait on nobody to carry a bone to you. Let me say it again. You don't wait for somebody to carry a bone to you. You go to the person yourself. So I want to ask Mr. Seth, did you ask authorities about all ring camera, door cameras, and security cameras and motion sensors on the neighbors' houses? Number one, did you go to every neighbor on the cul-de-sac street and ask, do they have cameras, ring cameras, seen your son, know your son? Did you also ask the police? Did you also ask the Proudfoots? Do they know who has cameras, ring cameras, door cameras? Because you can't rely on a bone carrier. You have to go to the source. That way you can say, I asked, I tried to ask, I knocked on the door, I left a note, I left my number. And I would have done that as well. I would have typed up my phone number, a way to reach me, email, however, Facebook Messenger, however you want the people to contact you, and hand it to them directly. I don't mean to impose, but if you have any information about my child, which you have let us know that is your child, call me directly. You ain't got to call Peter, Paul, Dick, Mary, the Proudfoots. You call me. Because this is my child, and I'm concerned about the welfare and the whereabouts of my son. Do the neighbors have ring cameras, doorbell cameras, front of the house, back of the house, side of the house? How many neighbors in that general area, on that street, have cameras? Because we hear there's no CCTV footage of the child and any movement from the child. So, actual cameras on every house, actual cameras that were working, verify if they were working, not working. See, all that matters. Ding, 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 ding. Proudfoots, do they have a camera on their house, back of the house, side of the house, doorbell camera, front cameras, motion sensors? He couldn't answer that question by Nancy Grace. Shut your mouth. Now, this is where the Queen has a damn problem. What you say? You don't know. This is unacceptable. You need to know if the place where your child was sleeping, there are cameras. Inside, oh, what you say, Queen? Inside, you have an autistic child, you should have cameras inside your house for that very reason. Not just for theft, robbery, home invasions, because you have a child who could wander off, who could open the door to a stranger, who could sneak out, run out. You need to see what the hell's going on in your house. And a lot of people have cameras inside of their house with or without children. So let's just keep it real. You're living in a nice neighborhood, and I'm assuming you want to guard your valuables inside and outside, Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot, neighbors. So I want to know why Seth don't know this, why he doesn't know if they got cameras or motion sensors, because Nancy asked it. And she asked a lot of pertinent questions. And she even said that too about their interview they did, the last interview they did. Why a certain person didn't ask certain questions about cameras, motion lights, and sensors. Exactly. You're going to bring somebody on to your network and you're just going to let them talk aimlessly, like ducks out of water, because that's what you're dealing with right now, 2 ducks out of water, and just let them talk, pan the camera on them for likes and views, because that's really all this is about. People want to hear a question asked. I'm not getting ready to sit here and waste my time traveling to Hendersonville, Tennessee, Nashville, Alaska, and nowhere, and put my camera on you to let you just sit there and spin me the damn story you want to spin. For what? Because you know what people are going to say? Well, you've traveled all that way down there. Why didn't you ask this? Why didn't you ask that? I'll wait. Do you hear birds chirping? Because I do. What's the point? What is the point in telling people we have declined to speak about our son, Sebastian Rogers, but yet you're talking to YouTubers about absolutely nothing? Oops, I forgot you're talking about yourself, which people find that strange. And that is usually what people do who have something to hide and usually are guilty. Now, I'm not here to say the Proudfoots did something to that boy, but Queen been on top of this dirt 53 years, and the one thing I'm not is no damn dodo bird. When one talks about self, that's because they're telling you who they are, which means you're self-absorbed or narcissist, storyteller, fabricator, liar, manipulator, trying to control the narrative. I want you to like me. Don't worry about Sebastian. I'm the king of the mountain. I'm the queen of the mountain. Look at me. But I'm not here to look at you. I want to know where the hell is your child. So where is Sebastian, Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot? Did he ask everyone, including the police, once again, doorbell cameras, cameras on the house, cameras inside of your house, back of your house, motion sensors? Mr. Seth, did you ask the police about all of the neighbors having security cameras and motion sensors? Nancy Grace asked this question and you did not have an answer, and that's not good. And I'm gonna tell you something that's very interesting. And she hit the nail on the head while she was asking about the motion sensors. And I wanna see if somebody can put it together. All these lights in the backyard, whomever had them, whatever they were, light over here, light over there. One goes back into a common area, whatever that's supposed to mean. One dims out. Where did that one light go? Who are the ones holding the lights? Light 1, light 2. And why the hell nobody motion sensor lights went off? Bingo card. Shut your mouth. Gotta pay attention. See, there's always something you don't think about when you're hearing the story. You're hearing the version. And this is what you're supposed to do when you invite the news, your radio program. You ask questions. And I don't want to say they're hard questions because you're talking about a missing child. So you can't get offended about basic questions. And security is a basic question in a day and time of modern technology. So I can't see why anybody would get offended if somebody says, do you have a security camera on your house? Do you have a security camera inside of your house? Do you have motion sensors on the back of the house, the side of the house, the front of the house? So bingo card, 2 lights are flashing in the backyard or whatever the hell was going on back there. Ain't nobody motion sensors went on. Uh-oh. Now you got to ask that question again. Does anybody have motion sensors in the back damn yard of their house? Because if somebody has motion sensors, then why did they not pop on? Whomever that was back there, flashing lights, flashlights, whatever. Okay, we learned that the child's flashlight's a keychain. When I heard that, I said, what did Nancy just say? A keychain? Wait a minute. Y'all got to be kidding me. So I'm supposed to believe, because you know I need a receipt, that a keychain has a flashlight on it that's going to make all this visible, you know what I'm saying, on the screen, on somebody's security camera. So I need to see the size of this light, both lights that were flashing back there in that damn yard. And then I got to say this, because this is the part somebody ain't going to like. If it's the child back there with a flashlight that's on the keychain, how is it similar to the light that the other person has? I'll wait. The child allegedly didn't like going outside without shoes on. And this is what the mother told the public. I believe he went out there with a flashlight, because Queen's thinking of a regular flashlight, not, a keychain. Now we learn it's a keychain. Now you got to ask yourself how big it was on the keychain. Woo! Can't get no answers. Had an incident as a child, went into a bed of ants, so he doesn't like walking without shoes. So then you got to ask yourself, well, why would he go outside without shoes? Oh, and a coat, but just no shoes and a flashlight, but he don't like walking barefoot. I'll wait. But could a child change his or her mind? Of course. If they were running for their safety, they don't need no shoes, right? If they felt scared. Then I heard somebody say something about, well, do you think maybe he got locked out of the house? So then you got to ask yourself, well, why would you be locking a child out of a house? I'll wait. And it's not to say it can't be done, because you have cruel parents who like to play reindeer games as well. Okay, you're not minding, you're not behaving, I'm mad at you, you're getting on my nerves, you're sick of your ass, lock you outside. Interesting. Was the child locked outside? By now, there are too many questions that should have answers. Please check out that Nancy Grace video. It's posted to my community board, and you will see my statement on my post above this video. Lights, motion sensors. If people have motion sensors on their homes, why didn't they go off? Because if I'm going to use deduction that somebody was on foot back in that vicinity of their house, whether it be a neighbor's house or their backyard, if people had motion sensors and neighbors, wouldn't they go off with you moving about? So now you got to find out who had motion sensors on the back of their house with security cameras. Who was back there? The child and a parent? 2 adults? Why would you be back there at 3 o'clock in the morning? What the hell are you looking for? Interesting that this is the same morning that the child allegedly went missing. Is this a ruse set up by somebody to make it look like somebody was back there? If this is a setup by the Proudfoots, you don't think that you couldn't be caught on camera back there? And how would you explain yourself if somebody's security camera can make you out being back there? See, the one thing people don't think about in committing a crime, setting up a crime, is the obvious, getting caught. Because we bank on thinking we got everything mapped out. Now, like I said, I'm not here to say that these 2 people, the Proudfoots, committed a crime against this child, got him missing, paid somebody to come get him, paid somebody to take him, however you want to word it. But you have to use deduction. He was last in your care, Mrs. Proudfoot. You're the one spinning the story about last seeing him, what you all did that day, so on and so forth. So naturally, authorities are going to look at you. The parent, Mr. Seth, he should be looking at you. And I want to ask him directly, sir, are you looking at your ex-wife, ex-partner as the proprietor of the disappearance of your son, Sebastian Rogers? And also, are you looking at Mr. Chris also as a proprietor, co-conspirator, whichsoever? And will you one day tell us the truth, how you really feel about them, the relationship with the child, and who you believe has your child, and who you believe got your child gone, and the motive for getting rid of your child? Because as they say, the truth shall set you free. Now, naturally, it's a current investigation. And as the authorities have said in the commentary that I played, we don't have to tell you everything that we're doing. We don't have to tell you what's seen and unseen. So just because you don't see us walking around, it does not mean we're not looking for Sebastian. It does not mean we're not working diligently to find the young man. Because sometimes they know more than what they're telling you, and that's their job. It's to keep it close to the vest until they're ready to bring you the pertinent information. So far, what do the police have pertaining to the disappearance of this young boy? Do they have a suspect or suspects in mind? Do they have any other type of CCTV footage of movement of the child, the parents, all parents, neighbors, friends, associates? We also learned he wasn't on the internet, only this Minecraft gang business. But as Nancy said, but they talk to each other when they play games. So could somebody at the schoolhouse have said something to him? Hey, meet me outside at such and such time on Sunday morning, Monday morning. He don't have access to nobody. He only talks to the children at school. So as I said before in my commentary, this has to be a lonely life for a child if I'm supposed to believe this version from Mrs. Proudfoot. So you mean to tell me your child just goes to school, he don't do nothing else but eat, take the classes, catch a bus to and fro, and that's it? No friends coming over. He's not going with friends. He's not going to the picture show with friends. They're not coming over there spending the night. They're not coming over there for game night, watching sports. They don't sit in the driveway and talk. They don't sit in the garage and play games, play musical instruments. He's not involved in soccer, glee club, nothing. And he's 15 years old. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling the world. Your child don't go nowhere. He don't do nothing unless it's with you. Well, I'm going to say this and I'm going to check my black tail on out of here. That's a lonely ass life for a child. It'd be the same lonely life for a grown up. Checkmate. Ride the bus to school, ride the bus home. Come home and sit in a house with a mother who don't do nothing, don't go to work, ain't got no hobbies herself. What are your hobbies, ma'am? What do you do? While Sebastian's in school, Mrs. Proudfoot, what are you doing? Watching Young and the Restless, what? Talking on the phone, Facebook, looking at yourself, taking selfies. What do you do? Facebook, IG, Snapchat, X. Come on with it, Queen. What do you do all day? Where are your friends? Do you have girlfriends that come over? Y'all drink tea, water, wine, what? Come on with it, Queen. I ain't ready for this. See, I go in the belly of the beast because I know it's always more than what you're seeing and what you're hearing. Because the one thing I've learned about the human mind, spirit, body, we don't want everybody knowing our damn business. We don't want to tell everything, and we're hoping and praying you keep your damn mouth shut when the shit hits the fan, and the shit has hit the fan because a whole person is missing, and that's a 15-year-old boy. So I'm going to say it again. Mrs. Proudfoot, what do you do during the day when your child is at school? Bingo card. What do you do when he comes home? Where are your friends, your family? Do you go to church? What are you involved in? I'll wait. What did I tell you about a story? Everything starts at the beginning, not the middle, not the end. And if you want to know what really happened, you start at the beginning. And the beginning is at that house. Oh, let's talk about the dog scent. False positive. Nancy Grace talks about that. We got a hit at the construction site. Do we believe the child made it to the construction site that's right near the house? because it's sure enough convenient to transport a child and get rid of him. Or he walked over there playing and got gone. Which is it? No dog sense past your house. Uh-oh, that ain't good. And you know that ain't good, Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot, because that means only one thing and one thing only. Baby boy ain't left that house by foot. I say it again, Queen. He ain't left that house by foot. Or what we would say in the street, he was carried out. You see, 50 ways to kill a person, 100 ways to get caught. Is that what we're talking about here? Let's cut the shit. We'll stop dicking around about this baby. Did you all do something to your boy? Because you see, you've already laid it out nice and neat that he doesn't interact with school children. He doesn't interact with the neighborhood children or people in the neighborhood. You have not mentioned any activities, whereas he would go out of the house by foot, by transportation, a transportation van, a church van, somebody. So if he doesn't talk to nobody outside of school, he doesn't go anywhere with anybody, nobody picks him up, nobody toots a horn, nobody's coming in the house, such as friends, associates, neighbors, children, that leaves you, Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. So I'm going to say something to you that ain't nobody want to say to you directly. Stop this nonsense. Tell us where that boy is. Because if we can't bring another party in that could have lured your child out, your child could have went out to meet, then all roads lead to you too. And really you, Mrs. Proudfoot, because you're allegedly the one that's there with them all the time. Now, as far as Mr. Chris, were you there Friday evening to Sunday evening? Who can verify you being in that house? GPS on your phone? So now we got to talk to the police. What have you verified by all phones? And Miss Nancy Grace asked that as well about him having access to his phone, Mr. Sebastian. Him getting into apps, going into apps, but allegedly he's not doing nothing with apps, says the mother. No access to the internet. So Nancy's like, well, he's playing this game, but the father's trying to explain, yeah, just a game, but not an app. But then she goes on and says, well, you know, you got YouTube and different things, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. So has the child ventured into the unknown on his phone and they don't know anything about it? Do they check his phone regularly? Do they put the phone on, put the phone up at a certain time of day? Do they check the phone when he gets home to see if he has any apps installed? You understand? Because let me tell you something. You can install an app, but you can remove it off the face of the phone. Come on with it, Queen. Say it again. You can install an app, but have it removed from the face of the phone, but the app is still in the phone, and you still can go in there without seeing the emblem on the screen. So when was the last time the parents checked his phone to see if he has been talking to anybody outside of the house? Any inbound phone calls, outbound phone calls, any blocked numbers, any salacious text messaging? Does the child know how to text? See, these are all the questions you ain't getting no answers to. Does your son know how to send a text? Does your son know how to read a text? What is his reading capacity, comprehension capacity? That's what you need to know if you want to say an outsider came and took the child, lured the child, knocked on the door, knocked on the window, sent a message. Those things you need to know. What's in his phone? All apps installed, talking to and fro through Messenger, X, Facebook, IG, WhatsApp. I don't hear anything. Did you hear something? Because I ain't heard nothing. Thousand questions that lady asked Nancy Grace. And you do not get a definitive answer about a phone, just what the mother said. And the one thing I've learned about true crime, you cannot believe everything that is being said. Even the he said, the she said, the gossip, who said what, who don't get along, who's got a problem, who's got mental issues. I'm hearing that allegedly the mother has some type of mental issues. She would fly off the handle, get flip out. Maybe that's why the relationship didn't work with her. She and Seth, I don't know them. I just know a whole baby missing. That's what I know. And if I'm to believe the version from the mother, he wouldn't go outside without shoes. But yet he's gone outside without shoes, allegedly with a little bitty flashlight or a big flashlight. Don't know what's the difference. But he ain't worn no coat. But where's his jacket? Because it wasn't summertime when he left, allegedly. So are all his jackets accounted for while we're worrying about shoes? But then the father tells Nancy that, oh, she just said he needed some boots, so I went and bought him some boots because he was his feet was growing. And she gets rid of boots. So, Nancy's asking about them boots. But he can't tell her. So, ma'am, did you throw away some boots? Or the shoes that you said? All shoes are accounted for. And the other thing, the garbage. When you read the article about why they went over to Kentucky to check the landfill, what did the police say? It doesn't necessarily mean we got a tip why we went to search the landfill, but yet somebody done put a bug in the police ear about the trash being kind of heavy that week when they picked it up, unusually heavy. But yet the landfill has not turned up Sebastian Rogers. Interesting. So, Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot, you entitled to live how you want at your house. You could put a bag of rocks in the damn garbage can or plywood in there. Could have been working on a project, and that's why the damn garbage was heavy. See, we don't know. Because how you going to prove that the trash was heavy? You're going by what somebody else has to say. So I'm going to ask you, did you put a lot of stuff in the trash can that weekend when the trash came and picked up Monday morning or whatever, what? Or was there a whole body in the trash? And then I thought about that. Who would be stupid enough to put a child? And that's probably a stupid question that I'm asking. Who would put a whole damn child in a trash bag? You'd have to double or triple it up. And somebody would know, damn, this trash is awfully heavy. Would they be inquisitive to cut the bag open to look inside? Now imagine that. So that's kind of risque to put a whole child in a trash bag. But people have done it. But they do it in other trash bins, dumpsters, not their own. So I don't know if I believe they put the child in there because that would be very risky. No one, as most people pick up the trash, would say, this bag is awfully heavy. Hasn't been this heavy. I think somebody would be nosy and open the damn bag and peep in it. Depends on the garbage pickup person, I guess. Is the child in the landfill? Did they put the child in the garbage? Is that even factual that the garbage was just going to be heavy that week? What was going on in the backyard with the lights? Did the child wander out of the house? You see, the reason why the security system and the motion sensors is important to the story is for the obvious reason with the lights being shown in the backyard vicinity, however you want to word it, for the obvious reason. If you have ADT security system, the doors and windows are supposed to make a noise when you open them and when you close them. So if the child went out of the house, it should sound. Door open, door closed. And that's also going to show on an itemized printout So we're going to ask this question. Do the Proudfoots have a security system? Number one. Do they have motion sensors on their house? Number two. Because if you all are out there playing reindeer games with flashlights, you'd have to be the biggest dodo birds breathing, knowing there's going to be a statement and a monitoring system to show you're going in and out at 3 a.m. unless you turned it off. So if they do have a security system and they are the ones in the backyard with the flashlights doing God knows what, did they turn the system off? Will somebody verify that these people have ADT or some type of security system? If they do, will it come back with some suspicious activity of somebody going in and out? Another thing Nancy asked. Windows open, close, break in, breach of doors. No. Nobody broke in. Nobody broke a window. Nobody broke a window out. No doors breached. No doors jimmied. So that means people were going and coming freely. If we're to believe these are the people of this home, they got something to do with these lights. And have the lights been verified? Checkmate. Who was in the backyard or where were the lights coming from? Does it even have anything to do with the storyline? And what's taking so long to tell us? You show us a video, but you don't even give us verification. What's been verified? Don't y'all see this is whack? Why can't it be verified? Here are the lights. We think it's this, this, and this. And this is our conclusion. Or is it part of the investigation? And that's why the police haven't gave you a receipt to the lights. There's something stinky here. And the behavior of the parents is suspect for the obvious reasons. There's no unity between the Proudfoots and Mr. Seth, which is not a good look pertaining to a missing child. The fact that they're not out passing out flyers and searching for the child. I don't want to hear a statement from you, Mrs. Proudfoot, about helping search for your child. You go out there and search for your child. That's your child. Nobody should have to tell you to get off your lazy ass and go out there and search for your baby. You don't work nowhere from what I understand. I haven't heard that you go to a job. So what is the problem with you getting your ass up and handing out flyers, banging on doors, and you ain't crying, you ain't hollering, you ain't falling out? Why not? Why not? Pretend you in church with the Holy Ghost, heifer, and show us some damn emotion. Then you're looking down and you swaying. Woo! Them guilty ones, they sway, do they not? Almost like you in church. Then you got to look at him every time you say something, especially when you was talking about that niece. Why you got to look at your husband? No. What you looking at him for? You need him to answer? Well, hell, we just let him tell the damn story. Tell the truth where that little boy is, lady. Sir. Seems like the father, Mr. Seth, is more in tune with trying to find the child. He's reaching out to the public and organizations to get help. Thank you, Cajun Navy, for coming on over to try to help find this child. Other people on the ground looking for the child. What is going on? You know what's going on. Somebody's lying about Sebastian Rogers. That's what's going on. Somebody is faking the funk on a nasty dunk about their baby. Somebody is sitting in front of cameras and picking and choosing who the hell they want to talk to and spin the story about their child. They don't want to talk to the news. They don't want to talk to the radio, but they want to talk to some damn YouTubers that can't do shit for you and your damn kid. You are trying to control the negative. That's what the hell you doing. You got to look at each other to spin the story. There's no crying. There's no nothing. Everybody's staring at the floor like you're looking for some damn pennies on the damn ground. The camera's up here. The hell you looking down that for? Look up here. Right here. See this box? Look into the camera and tell us what happened to your kid. Cry, lady, cry. When you saw Riley Strange parents on TV, the stepdaddy crying, the mama's crying. I rest my case. This all you get from them. Like we about to start singing in church? Well, sing me a song and tell me what the hell your baby is. See, you're not thinking. But this is expected from people who are up to no good. You think you got it all mapped out, but you don't. Because I'm going to tell you where you made your mistake, sugar. You should have never did that interview with the YouTuber. You want to keep your mouth closed about your baby? That's your business. But I wouldn't have done that interview. I would have never went to a YouTuber to spin the story because you added some extra shit in there that you didn't say to the news. Checkmate. You don't show any emotion. She didn't even ask you pertinent questions that everybody's wanting to know. Changing what the child had on, adding extra stuff. Because the truth needs no explanation. Meaning, you ain't got to keep talking to different folks, especially up here on this dirty box, about what happened to your child. You let the YouTuber talk to you so you can control. And she gave it to you, foolishly. She gave it to you. Because I would have been asking you, well, wait a minute. That's not what you said over here to this news station. Ding, ding, ding. But she'd let you talk. And you stupidly talked. But as I said, the truth needs no explanation. Meaning, you don't have to spin the story twice. You tell it one time, and then you're done with it. That's my commentary, everybody. Thank you for watching this network. Welcome new subs, viewers. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Check out my community page for said updates. The United Cajun Navy has now decided to help in the search with this young man. Prayers that he is found and located. But we are now into, week 5, and it does not look good. And somebody knows where Sebastian Rogers is and why somebody would take this child or dispose of this child, harm this child, dispose of this child. They have their own sick, diabolical reason because there is no logical reason for ever harming a child. Ever. And disposing of a child. And what you have to ask yourself, if he was kidnapped, lured, where is he? And why hasn't someone returned him knowing that he is missing? Because 9 times out of 10, he is not kidnapped. Because then you'd have to ask yourself, why would someone take him? Hide him out. Not saying it doesn't happen and that it has not happened. But then if it's nefarious and he's not alive, you then have to ask, what would be the motive for unaliving a 15-year-old? And it would be the obvious reason. I checked out. I got tired. I no longer wanted to deal with him. I was reprimanding him and I went too far. And then I had to dispose of him. Which is it? Somebody in that house knows. And I believe they're playing a very, very dirty game with the YouTube box for thrills and frills. But you see, in the end, we won't be the ones in trouble for getting a 15-year-old missing and God forbid unalive. That will be your problem, Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. And that's something you need to be pondering on. So if you know what a child is, you're behind the disappearance of the child, God forbid, unaliving and disposing of the child, you need to tell the damn truth, because this isn't going to fare well. Because you see, I don't think you covered all your ducks. That's the reason why you're talking to all these little entities. You're trying to control the situation, but what you're doing is making it worse. That's my commentary, everybody. Thank you for joining me. You've been listening to the Vol XL. Thank you.